Look at this lovely invention right here.
I love it. And you
Where
said
is yours? Where is yours?
UPS or FedEx, whichever one says it's arriving
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's
arriving
coming tomorrow.
You know what? It's 8:00 here on the West Coast. You never know. The doorbell might ring, and I'll have to
It
go
might.
get it.
It might. Your doorbell might ring, and then you'll have to ding. I mean, that's
Okay.
just the way it goes. I want to send a huge shout out to Elaine for sending the bell because we've needed a dinger for a long time. Listen, it's been pretty weak. I don't know who sent us this one, but also equivalently good. It's like equally as amazing. So we appreciate the dings and the rings, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight for Anchor Watch, our late night below deck chat, where we take over Up and Adam's channel. Listen, Josh, I've been to 2 cities in a week. I am very, very tired, but so excited to be here tonight. I'm so tired that I even went live on the wrong channel tonight with Adam. Like an hour before this, we went live to do an after party for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And yeah.
And you were on tomorrow morning's broadcast.
I was on tomorrow morning's broadcast. Yes, yes, I was. Hey, Elaine, dings all around. Thank you for being here. Listen, before we get into this, we do have a tip meeting tonight, our very first tip meeting that we have promised you guys forever. So we're going to keep this short and sweet and fun. And for all our podcast listeners, if you want to jump onto YouTube and subscribe to our second channel, we will do a tip meeting live after this show every week where we take callers and have a panel and kind of discuss everything that's happened on Below Deck.
Yeah, this is our chance as a crew to come together, talk through the latest guests. We're going to get ready for next charter. And then when we're done, we'll split the tips. So yeah, I'm excited for tonight. It is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I will tell you guys, I'm in corporate sales and stuff. And today is the end of the month. And the end of the month is always like, blah, 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 blah. I am so excited to be with you guys tonight and have some fun. And especially giving this tip meeting a try. So all of you guys who are watching live, just know we're going to end this. We're aiming for 30 minutes. And then we're just going to take like a short, like 2-minute potty break / get a cocktail, get back to your computer. And then you all need to call in. But if you're shy, don't worry. You could still chat it up in the chat. But and we'll drop all the info at the end so you know, because we're gonna move to Up and Adam's second channel for that. So
yes,
I'm excited.
Absolutely, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think it will be a good time to have a discussion because I feel like you and I talk about all these things every week, especially between Sandy and Fraser and everything that's happened this season, and Captain Lee, leaving, Captain Carey coming in next season. Who is going to be here next season, which is something I really want to talk to you about. Maybe I should save this for that chat because I want to talk to you about who's going to be back.
Something I want to talk about tonight too is I feel like we've been fooled a little. So this is something I want to put out there. Okay. So first things first, obviously this was a very important episode because we said goodbye to Captain Sandy. We said hello and welcome home, Captain Lee. But we also saw like this, I don't know, the moment we've been waiting for all season, which was the rise of Fraser. Like, I feel like he's back. He's got a spring in his step. He's got some witty little comments. Like, this is the Fraser we've been waiting for. And I think we have Captain Sandy to thank for guiding him through this.
You might be pushing some buttons with some people.
I know. I'm going to piss off some people with that. But you guys, I really think, look, you might disagree with the method, and maybe she's not perfect, so she didn't pull this off the best at some times. But overall, I think her intentions were good. And I think with where we see everything and where it's landed, I do think like the means justify the end justifies the means.
I mean, listen, I have to agree with you. I mean, look at what's happened in this season that has transpired, right? We lost Lee at the beginning. We had a Camille situation. We got rid of Camille. We also had an Alyssa situation. We got rid of Alyssa. Look where the crew is now. You know what I mean? You can call that micromanaging, you can call it whatever. A lot of people, earlier on said that Sandy was after Fraser, and Fraser was tweeting earlier in the season 2 saying like, "Oh, this was a bad edit," or um I've never worked for a captain like this. But as you noticed, moving forward, it says as the sorry guys, I'm so tired. As the episodes got better, you don't see any tweets from them anymore. So it's almost like they pushed us to get to this point. But I really feel like I agree with you here. I feel like that we have a great situation. We got rid of the problems on the boat. I mean, listen, this charter, you had 3 stews. You had Fraser, the chief stew, you had Haley, and you had Tyler. And even though they had to work just a little bit harder, they really pulled that off tonight or last night.
Yeah, it's almost like there should have been this should have been the end to the season, and we started up, or like a half season, then we took a couple weeks of break and come back for another half season with the return of Captain Lee. Almost like it's such a good story arc. The rise and fall, or no, the fall and then rise of Captain Sandy and Fraser's relationship and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so Shelly,
this is a great question.
This is a great question, and this leads me into my trickery I was thinking about. So Shelly asks, why did Fraser say he loved and respected Sandy, yet slammed her on Twitter when shows airs? So, ladies and gents, I was thinking about the exact same thing. And I think, and this isn't the only thing. We also saw Captain Lee on this episode, on his return. He says to the camera, Camille was let go, Alyssa was let go. He was covering that, and he said, you know what? Captain Sandy was the captain, and she did what she needed to do. And I think she did a hell of a job, or something like that. Like he praised her. And yet, same thing on Twitter during the stuff, he was kind of attacking her. Captain Sandy was firing back some kind of subtle responses. Folks, I start to question if maybe some of the producers also do professional wrestling. Are they playing up their character in the moment that we're watching?
This is Bravo. Yes, this is exactly what was happening, right? Okay. You get people ramped up in the show. You have Lee leave, and then you have Sandy, who's known to be like maybe a micromanager or technically problematic, which we've done a hard reset on her. I don't find her like that, even as this is, but I do feel like we tweeted a lot. We had Captain Lee tweet things about firing Camille with Captain Sandy. We had Fraser tweet things about Captain Sandy, but we kept watching. And every time they tweeted, we were tuning in. And this is exactly what you do when you're creating a reality TV show.
So here we are. Those of you on Bravo, Bravo. Well played.
Yes. What did we do for Peacock?
Hook, line, and sinker. We were in, what is that about Peacock?
What do we do for Peacock? If it's Bravo, what do we do for Peacock? We can't do that on here.
We can't do
that. Okay, we won't do that. We won't do
really
that.
Bad places. No, so yeah, I mean, great entertainment, right, folks? I mean, Monday nights we've been having fun. Tuesday nights we come on and we've been
having more fun.
We've been having more fun. It's been good, and I really think, they played it up. At a certain point, I would love to, like, I don't know. So many people are still super rough on Captain Sandy, and I sound like a fanboy or something about her and Fraser and stuff, but I really like both of them. I think
same.
Yeah.
Same. And I think we're going to find more out about that as we continue down this rabbit hole of conspiracies and lovely Bravo editing. And Shelly, I'm with you too. I get invested in these people too. And then we sit there and we go back and forth. We have these great conversations about the people on the show. And it's kind of amazing. But yes, Bravo is very good at what they do. We have to remember we're watching a reality TV show that is very well produced. I do want to ask you a question though. we know that we're getting Captain Carey to replace Captain Lee next season on season 11.
Allegedly. I mean, there's no official Bravo announcement, but
Allegedly.
the whole world says it other than Bravo themselves. But yeah, I think
And that's usually how it starts, though, right? We
Sure,
have everyone
sure.
reporting on that. We didn't start that, by the way,
Yeah.
although we should have when we knew. But there's also a new captain headed our way. And I just don't know what franchise he's coming on, if he's going to take over Adventure or if they're going to try something new, because Below Deck is going into this kind of a revamp right now. They have mentioned that before, that they are going to kind of revamp Below Deck to kind of step it up a little bit. And I'm curious on what that is going to look like. But we have Captain Carey allegedly coming into season 11. We have Fraser, who is our chief stew for season 11, which that doesn't surprise me. Who else from just the specific crew would you like to see on season 11? Because I already know who I want to see, and I don't know if we're going to get them.
Well, I'll say this. The current interior crew, we're meeting the new gal, so I don't know about her yet, but Haley and Tyler and Fraser, I 100% welcome them back. If those three are like, we're in, then I would love it. I feel like Haley has so much to offer us viewers, but she was eclipsed by the drama mamas that we had. And so, hey there.
What, these two?
Yep. So getting them out of the way and us having fun with Haley. I mean, like, and then Tyler, he's a sweetheart, and he's also, though, he says his little digs, he has his little fun. I have a feeling that there's a lot of fun stuff from the two of them that are on the cutting room floor right now that we missed out on.
Yes.
And because now that they're gone, like the first episode that really they got pushed up, we had fun moments like them messing around and making fun of the guests, right, as the guests are walking in the room and stuff. So it's like,
which I don't think the guests really remembered, right? You know, like
no, and it didn't become an issue.
I'm sure that was all for the cameras, but I do have to say, I would love to see Fraser back with Haley, Tyler, and let's bring on like a new stew. Maybe not Leanne, who's our new stewardess who we're seeing this season, who I think is great, but she's a chief stew herself. But when we go to the deck crew, I feel like Ben has really solidified his spot on Below Deck. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like Ben is here to stay for a minute, and I feel like we're going to see him next season.
Yeah, and you know what? As much as he drives me nuts, I think Ross might be good to have on the show. And your favorite
I'm sorry. That's my favorite photo of Ross. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Ben also, I think he's good for television. He's capable, but he says good stuff. Like, he gives us good lines and stuff. Great for editing. You know, he gets good one-liners out there that they can use. Tony, initially I thought Tony was going to be good, but then he's just kind of whiny, and he doesn't offer much other than that kind of to me. Like, I'm kind of getting
he's like the easy guy, right? Like, he'll go with the flow. You know, if Katie's bossing him around, which we'll get into because that was part of this episode.
Yes.
Or if he has to wake up early or late, even though it bothers him, he will try. He's always there. He's invested, it seems like. So
he's good at his job, but he's also just whiny.
I have to say, Ross is really surprising me this season, only because, you know, we come into this episode where Katie and Ross have this relationship, right? And I think it's kind of finally carrying over into the deck crew, where Katie, maybe she feels a little bit entitled, where she can like start saying stuff because she's dating the boss. At least that's what it feels like for me, right?
Kempire's in the house, and Kempire says
Kempire.
He prefers Ross over Ben. Ross has more personality. I'm not going to disagree. I can't disagree there. Can't disagree.
I mean, look at this face.
Okay, take that.
But hold on. Look at this. You tell me. Tell me who has a better person. I have no idea. I don't know. It's 50-50 for me. But Kempire, I have to
keep them both. Keep them both. We can keep both. There's room. Keep them
both.
Make him second or bosun. Yeah. No. Wait.
Like a lead deckhand. Lead deckhand. So you have the bosun, the lead deckhand, and then you have the the rest of them.
Make him
the rest of them.
Deckhand.
Okay, Josh, I have a question though. So we have this whole Katie and Ross situation, but Ross honestly he's kind of a wild child, right? He
And
has a
he's a
drink
creep.
and
He is creepy.
he's
He's a
creepy as
creep.
hell.
He's creepy.
He's creepy as hell, but
My
how does
wife
he
is
handle
like,
situations
feels
so
disgusted
well
watching
when
him.
he has to deal with him? Like coming into dealing with Katie and sitting her down and being like, hey, look, we got to bring it down a notch. Like even Captain Lee tweeted, it's like, Ross, that was a hard thing to do, but you did it, and I respect you for that. He tweeted that, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically he's doing good at his job, but yeah, my wife every time she sees Ross, she's just like, like
Doesn't
so.
he? But we so many times compared him to Gary from Below Deck Sailing
Here,
because Gary.
Marianne said, as a woman, Ross has to go. So,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But the similarities between Ross and Gary from Below Deck Sailing they are party boys, right? They are players. They are F boys, but they always get their job done to the point where it's like, I can't say anything right now. Why?
yeah, but we also want to have good television. So
Of course we do.
bring on someone who's slightly unhinged. Let's get someone running around the boat carrying scissors or something. I don't know.
So we have these annoying charter guests who are asking for everything from Diet Coke to coconut syrup to scissors to butter to whatever else they need, right? Whatever else they need. But we're going to get rid of them and we're going to get some more annoying charter guests, it sounds like, next charter season. But how do you think that the interior has handled this without an Alyssa, without a Camille? Now we just have Haley, Ross, Haley, sorry, Fraser. Haley, Fraser, and Tyler dealing with this group of guests doing this lovely but not so lovely table decor. Because remember how hardcore Sandy was about table decor, and I just haven't seen that in Below Deck Med last season, and I haven't seen that in this season of Below Deck at all. I mean, this is what Adam and Jason do on their dining room table for dinner.
Okay, first of all, the two of you are obnoxious. Secondly,
but we have rose petals. Everyone has some rose petals. Listen, if you go to Pump, you go to any of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant, the tables are all petaled. This is like a very like
just baseline. We're starting at petals.
Yeah, this is very basic. Let's just go with that. It's basic, and then add a little torch, a little candle thing to it, make it sexy. It's fine.
By the way, the chat's going wild, folks. You better be at the tip meeting after the show, which we're trying to run this tight. So in a moment, we're going to bring on Captain Sean, but you guys have so much to share. Kempire's talking about turkey sandwiches. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, okay. This crew, these guests were wild. These are the kind of guests we love because they give us good television. You want to choke some of them. You want some of them to choke on their turkey sandwich. But hey, Fraser had a little fun. That was good. But yeah, actually, good call, Debbie. A turkey sandwich does actually sound really good right now.
This is so good right now.
Little iceberg lettuce in there, folks. Little crunch. I love it. Okay. So, but sorry, where was I going? I was saying,
tell us about the roses on the table.
No, we're going past that. The turkey sandwich, it does sound great right now. But
we're past this.
No, what I was going to say is these guests, they were fun. This is the kind of stuff we want on Below Deck. The crew, the interior crew, you said, how do you think they did? I think they did great. I think their biggest challenge now is it's not personalities internally, it's personalities externally, the guests, and just straight up fatigue. 3 of them trying to run 24 hours of service or nearly 24 hours of service is just grueling, especially for guests like that want to party into the night and stuff. So I think the crew's in a good spot. I think bringing on someone who hopefully is empathetic to Fraser's struggles because she's been a leader herself. I hope she doesn't try to take over for Fraser. Instead, she supports him. That would be great. And yeah, I think they're doing great. I just think they're being run ragged, but
100%. But do you feel like without the energy of Camille and Alyssa, that everything has kind of changed in the interior, right? You see Fraser is a whole new person. You don't hear any complaints on the interior. You don't see anything. You see them having fun. You see Tyler, Haley having fun. You don't see that complicated environment that they had before.
Jason, I think we've all been in those work situations where there's someone on the team or something, and it's like you don't realize when you're in it, but it's like every time they come in, everyone's like, puckers up and like goes, ugh, and like everyone has to deal with just, oh, here we go, or just, and it's like when they finally leave, there's just such a heaviness is lifted. That's what it feels like. I feel like the boat is floating a little higher right now because their attitudes are up, the energy's up. They're not having to pretend to like
Fraser
someone.
said it himself. Fraser said that this charter was harmony, and he was happy with everything that transpired. He was happy that his words. He was happy that Captain Sandy pushed him to do this and to be better, and that he had to live up to her standards.
Well, Jason, you and I have our own captain who pushes us, makes us live up to our standards.
And we have questions for him.
We have questions for him. Ladies and gentlemen, be seated. Keep your hands inside the boat. Just run the thing. I don't know.
All right, Captain Sean.
Captain Sean.
Finally, you're back in the United States. The past 2 weeks, you've been in Amsterdam, Monaco. Am I missing anything?
Norway.
Oh, Norway. That's right. As you do.
Did you go to the park with the baby statues, the babies climbing all over the weird, like, old men?
Oh, in Oslo? You remember that?
Oh, I didn't know. No, I wasn't in Oslo. I was in Stavanger.
There's statues of babies attacking old men. Now I gotta look up.
It's intense.
There was no babies attacking old men.
I can't believe you even remember that. Like, you just brought back a lot of memories really quick. Also, a burger in Norway is like $35. So just FYI, in case you want to go.
I went to a Chinese restaurant when I was in Norway.
Interesting choice. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't my choice, but it wasn't bad.
Okay. Captain Sean, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you remember this?
Babies are attacking him. That? He's kicking one baby, and he's
okay. This is going to be like removed from Instagram immediately.
Norwegians.
Hey, I want to, Sean, we have a lot of questions for you tonight. Well, a few questions I have. But let's just start with this. Did you see Captain Carey in Norway, Captain Sean? Because listen, I see Captain Carey all the time. He lives down the street from us. So
it only makes sense that you saw him in Norway.
No, so you might see him in Norway.
Do you know any other captains that are on Below Deck currently?
Do I know them?
Yeah, personally, besides Lee, because we know you kind of had run-ins with Lee, right? I mean, obviously
Well, run-in makes it sound like they're fighting in a bar.
I'm trying to be Bravo about this.
Oh, yeah. You've had
some run-ins with Lee, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I mean, anyone else? Do you know any of the other captains that we currently see on Below Deck?
I know. I know none of them.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing coming from you? Because you're pretty respected in the industry.
I don't think there's a lot of guys I don't know. So I mean, well, thank you for that. But yeah, no, I've never met them, and they've never bothered to reach out to me.
Sean, I know that you had some questions sent to you.
I did.
Yes. So let's start with those. And then I have one question for you to round us up tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for all the questions. I answered a bunch in the, thank you, Marianne. I had a bunch of questions that I answered in last week's comments. But here's a couple that I was asked on Instagram and stuff. And by the way, everyone that followed me on Instagram through all my trips through Amsterdam and Monaco and everything, and the comments that I got, that was great. It was great having you along for the trip. And shout out to, I guess we have fans in Norway as well while I was in Norway. Yeah,
we do. Actually, one of our naughty yachties here in the live chat, Ella, recommended our tip meeting, which we're doing straight after this and going into a live chat. And she said, you guys should do a tip meeting where we can call in and chat. So she is in Norway.
So, and then, anyway, okay. So the first question I have tonight have I ever almost been killed? on board these boats.
I'm gonna guess yes, probably
Yeah.
several times. So
Yeah.
maybe your top 3 times, Captain John.
Give us your top 3 of almost being killed.
Well, top 3 of us get killed. The twice I've almost been drowned. Well, no, actually, take that back. 3 times I almost drowned, and 1 time I get dropped out of the rigging, which is
Oh,
I was up on a thing, so I
jeez.
was way on one of my sailboats. Blue Gold. Blue Gold is the boat that almost killed me 3 times. But anyway, but the one was I was up on the rigging, and I was coming down in a thing called a bosun's chair, and the guy that was on the winch, the line popped off the winch, and I started whipping down the mast. And then my friend Patrick was there, and he managed to literally lasso the winch and lock it off. And I was going so fast that I snapped the bosun's chair in half. That was one. And then the other time, we hit the 3 biggest waves I had ever seen coming out of Auckland, and I literally submarined the boat 3 times, completely submerged, and that didn't almost kill me. That actually was the boat was fine for that. But there was an alarm, a bilge alarm that went off way up in the bow, and so I opened up the hatch, and the second engineer was holding the hatch, and this is way up in the bow area of the boat. And I went down the ladder, and this is where we kept all our sails in this locker. And then I had to pull up another plate, go down underneath there, climb underneath the actual chain locker. So I took my jacket off. I had a brand new jacket, and I put it off, and I put it on the sail. And I pulled it, and I went down, and it was wet, and I sliding down, and I jiggled the sensor, which was stuck on. And at that point, I felt the bow of the boat just literally go again. We hit another huge wave, and the compartment immediately filled with water. And it would be like if I was in this room, and the next thing you know, it was completely filled with water. So I was like, I kind of felt what happened. I was backing out, and I got out, and I'm about to get my head underneath the deck plates when we hit another wave, and my jacket wraps around my.
Oh my God!
So I peel the jacket off, and I feel myself I feel the boat go down for a 3rd time, but by this time I'm completely out of air. And the second engineer, who was at the hatch, who got blown back to the entire length of the boat, got pushed. Anyway, he ran back. He was able to put the hatch down and got up, and I was able to get my head above water. And I didn't think I almost died at the time. I just kind of was like, oh, that was close. And then
So anyone looking for a job in yachting?
God, I'm claustrophobic, and right now I just want to scream. That's oh my God.
And then there was the other time we sucked in the tow. This is up in the Arctic. This is on latitude, and I sucked the tow line into anyway, the tow line got into the propeller, so I put on my dive gear, and I was in the water. Now the water's 26 degrees, and I had a dry suit on, but I grabbed my hood and put that on, but I grabbed the wrong hood. I grabbed the 3 mil rather than the 7 mil. And I was standing upside down with my feet on the bottom of the boat, upside down, pulling the line out of the propeller, and all the blood rushed to my head. Well, the water was so cold that I went instantly hypothermic. And next thing you know, my vision was shrinking down, and I knew I was in trouble. And anyway, so I got out, got to the back of the boat. The engineer, Cliff, dragged me on board, and then they threw some hot water on me, and I kind of snapped out of it. And then with all my gear, I went into the shower. And if you've ever been hypothermic, getting warm again, it's like your brain comes back online. So anyway, then I got the right hood, went back into the water, and got the prop out of there. But those are the 3 times I've almost been killed.
I feel like, why don't we see this on Below Deck?
Because they don't go. They don't.
Why
they
don't we
stay
see
in
more of this?
pleasant weather?
Can you imagine?
Well, when I originally,
vacation, yes, it is. But can
vacation.
you imagine Captain Lee grabbing his shit and trying to put on his?
well, they
I
didn't
grabbed the wrong one.
no, because when we were putting the on Below Deck, which you didn't, with the episode that I did, you never saw me get in the water. They edited that out, but I got in the water, and actually I had to put on the thing called a snubber on the anchor chain, so the chain doesn't hit there. And I did swim into on the front of the boat and do that, and a lot of the other stuff that I did on the jet skis. And the stuff that when I pitched, like I've said before, when I originally pitched adventure, which I did pitch adventure first to Bravo.
Yes.
The type of stuff that I wanted to do was way, way above and beyond. And that's some of the stuff that real captains get stuck in properly.
Yeah, and I know you've spent a lot of time where they filmed Below Deck Adventure and beyond that.
No,
not.
No, that was they were like in Oslo, where I was in Norway. We were up like we're in Bergen in north and up in that area, and that's just the Norway part. But the real adventure stuff happens like in Lofoten, where there's orcas and you can go dive with them, and then there's like, of course, Svalbard, Spitsbergen, where you got polar bears and ice and like.
And I feel like we didn't get to see any of that on Below Deck Adventure. Not saying it wasn't great. It was a great show. You know, it was just a different version of Below Deck. It felt a little dated to me, but a lot of people loved it. But I don't think we got to see a lot of that adventure that you're speaking of now. We got to see a lot of like zip lining on land or some hikes or some bike rides. But then when you came on the yacht, it was just very boring.
Ziplining isn't adventurous. It's like Care Bear stuff.
I mean, you're talking to two guys from the circus. So like, yeah, we understand.
Exactly.
That. Listen, we do have a question from Shelly. Shelly is always great with the questions, and I love it. And Shelly, thank you for commenting every week. You give us some great questions. But she says, question for Captain Sean. What is the most remote area he has ever been to? And also, has he ever had to call out Mayday?
Well, it's because I had that same question right up here. So yeah, so the remote couple, I'll give you two remote areas. One way up in the Arctic. That's an island called Kvoit Island, which is extremely remote. There's only about 50 people maybe that have ever been up there, scientists and a couple of very few people have been there. Interestingly enough, there was a French team that tried to get to the North Pole by balloon that crashed on that island.
Whoa.
And there's a great book that somebody eventually found. They actually took movies, and the movies and their logs were all preserved. So I've been to that particular island. That was pretty remote. And then in the South Pacific, some of the areas I was in Vanuatu and the Solomons and Tuamotus were extraordinarily remote. And that's also where in the Vanuatu where I had to respond to a mayday. It was a couple of them. There was
you responded to one.
Yeah. Yeah, three. What?
What was the mayday for?
Well, they were. This one boat was off this area called Devil's Point, and they were out of fuel, and the wind and the waves were pushing them onto this reef. It's called Devil's Point for a reason, because there's a lot of boats that go down there. And when we were in Vanuatu, there's no Coast Guard, there's no one coming to save you, but we always had somebody monitor channel 16 in the pilot house. And the one of the deckhands came down and said, "Hey, I just heard a mayday." So we picked up the call and answered the mayday, and then we went and we towed these people in, but they're just about to be on the reef when we got them. The other maydays that we've responded to were there was a boat that was sinking, and we went and found that boat. And I actually refloated that boat. I went underwater and made a patch for them, and then we pumped them out, and we were able to get them out and tow them to the shipyard. So
it surprises me to just the amount of experience you have. Just that you're sitting here with us talking about this. This is great. This is it's intense. It's intense.
Thanks.
I know you had another question.
Yeah, so this is one. This is one that's interesting. This is actually a below deck question, and this question is: when Captain Sandy says she prefers the winds in the Med, what does that mean? And so
that is a great question.
Yeah. So anyway, the Mediterranean is generally calm all the time, especially during the summer. So it's flat calm. There's light breezes. Now, when it blows, it really blows. Those are called like one of the winds. They have the Nistrals and Scirocco's, and Ironically, Volkswagen has named cars twice, a Scirocco and I think in a Mistral as well. Anyway, but it's consistently calm, like light winds. It's not like the Caribbean, and I prefer the Med. Well, unless you're sailing, the Caribbean, why people like to go sailing there, because it blows consistently 20 knots, which is great if you're on a sailboat, but crappy if you're trying to find a nice anchorage. And one of the like the harbors that a lot of us go to that's really famous is St. Bart's. And St. Bart's, you get that wind that comes in there and you're just rocking and rolling all night. And then you get like some really big breezes. And if you can video like yachts at the dock at St. Bart's, and these yachts are just getting pounded while they're in there.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a couple times I've been stuck like in St. Martin with a charter. We got stuck in St. Martin for like a week at the dock because we couldn't go anywhere because it was too windy.
Wow.
Whereas the Med, there's always some place you can
and they
go.
pay for this. That's what's so crazy to me. It's like, even if you don't leave the dock, you're still
No, that was
technically on a
actually
charter,
one of the
right?
best charters we ever did.
okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm serious. He was he's one of my all-time favorite charter guests, and now he's actually a dear friend of mine. But he loved because I said, whatever you need, we'll get for you. And so I would get a text from him and be like, I want a grand piano. And I just always was like, okay. I said, give me 45 minutes. And then I would I'd text him back and be like, got grand piano. And he'd be like, how much? And I'd be like, and this is true. It was at the time. I go, it's $8,000. And he's like, 8,000 ? And I said, yeah. I said, it's we need a truck, we need a crane, and we need a piano tuner on both sides. Plus, we have to rent the
I mean, let's get
the piano.
Why have a grand piano if it's not in tune?
Well, exactly, because you got to have it tuned. So anyway, then he was like, yeah, no piano.
No
but
piano.
He just wanted to see if I could pull it off.
Man, the stories you have, Sean, are just freaking incredible. I hope you're going to join us in the next bit when we go over to a tip meeting, because we have a few more questions, and I think a lot of people want to talk to you. So if you join us, we would love that.
All right, I get it. And then one quickie. It's who picks the uniforms.
Is that the owners?
Well, sometimes.
Okay.
I've been lucky. I've actually designed uniforms for programs. I've designed Latitude. I had complete control over that. But I'll tell you who gets to pick my uniform. Nobody. Me. Anyway, I'll see you in the chat.
And that's why Captain Sean is sponsored by Speedo, folks.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Sean, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. And thank you for answering our questions. We'll see you in a few minutes on the other channel when we jump over there.
We'll see you there.
All right. All right, Josh, I want to move on really quick because we have a few minutes and then we're going to all jump over to the tip meeting. If you guys want to call in, you want to participate in the chat, it's going to be a little more loose than this. We are still recording for the podcast and we have a great listening audience. So I want to go ahead and take this time to thank the listening audience on the podcast because you guys are driving us every week and we love that. Okay, Josh, I want to wrap up this episode with Sandy can drive the boat. Like we've seen that day in and day out, even though she hits a few dolphins and not the real ones, occasionally in the Med.
Season with the smacking the dolphins. Yeah.
Yes. Apparently the winds are different. So we're going to give her a pass on that. But isn't it the most demanding guests, the most critical guests, the guests that are the hardest to deal with, the ones who leave the lowest tips? And we don't like a small tip. Not here on Anchor Watch.
Tiniest tips are left by those with the smallest, tiniest tips. Yeah, it's always
if you're asking,
this was their lowest tip of the season.
Right. And you're asking for scissors, butter, coconut syrup. What is the other thing they asked for? All in the same sitting.
A pair.
Just a pair. And Fraser said, who asked for a pair?
Well, and she even said she indicated she was just being difficult to be fun or whatever. I don't know. I don't find that fun. I don't find that impressing. It doesn't impress me. I don't think you're cool for doing that. You look foolish. And I'm sure just, because I keep my finger on the pulse of the Twitter community.
You do.
I do. I
This
say
is
it every week.
correct.
But
Correct.
from what I saw and the way people were responding, she wasn't cool. She didn't impress anyone. Yeah, it was she did not score points by being like that. So she looked foolish, and she's memorable, I guess. She'll be remembered as remember that one annoying woman. So
yes, and when you get Chef Rachel to say eat my cooter on the season when she hasn't been like this, when she hasn't been the eating kind of spitting out eating cooter, eat my cooter kind of Rachel, then you've kind of you've hit a mark with her. Okay, listen. So we have the new stew arriving. Leanne. Leanne knows Ben from sexting through Tinder, maybe. Very small community, the yachting community. This is going to cause some trouble. I have a question for you. Will Tony ever get some sleep? Will Tony ever sleep? Because if it's not Camille, it's going to be Leanne.
That's what it feels like we're leading up to, right? Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Tony, it's time you learn to just sleep out on the back deck where you work out. Like, I think that's the only way you're going to get.
He wakes up early enough to work out that maybe he can, do that. But I'm curious to see where we're going to get this Ben and Leanne thing. And we have been seeing Camille pop up on text. We've been seeing her pop up in conversation. Do you think that we only have a few more episodes left? Do you think we're going to see Camille pop up anymore?
For her own sake, I hope not, because then you just start looking really thirsty. It's like, move on. Like, don't show up. Like, but she seems to be chasing after them reality TV cameras. Apparently, she was on
American Idol,
and she's, came on here just to be on TV, not to even work on a yacht. Apparently, she had no idea that they were actually going to be working.
Great singer, but not a great stew. Apparently.
Well, we love our naughty yachties. We know you guys don't leave small tips. If you guys want to say thanks, please, we say it every week, just go hit that like button. It's simple, it's stupid, but it totally helps us. We've gotten more eyeballs on the show, and it's 100% because you guys are engaging, you're commenting a lot, you're liking, and that just totally helps us and helps motivate us. I mean, Jason and I have missed very few Tuesdays in the over a year now. We've been doing this show live every week. And so, yeah, that's that little tip that keeps us going, guys, like just hitting that like button. So thank you.
And we appreciate you guys so much. Tonight we are heading over to Up and Adam 2, channel 2, to do a tip meeting. So I hope you guys are going to call in and give us your opinions of this season so far. Let's talk about things like Fraser and Sandy, Fraser and the rest of the team, Sandy and Lee, all the Twitter situation, everything that has been going on this season that has been just driving us to actually watch the show. It has the highest ratings.
Anything you've ever wanted to ask Jason about me, come on.
Go ahead, ask me. I will tell you the truth. But I do have to say, this is the highest rated show on Bravo for a reason. And that reason is people love watching it. And the fact that they're about to jump in and do this whole revamp is kind of amazing. But I'm going to talk more about this when we go to the next channel, because I have kind of a conspiracy theory on the captains. So
interesting. I want to hear your little theory, Jason.
Yes. Well, you want to hear it?
Okay, folks, so we're going to wrap and give us I don't know, 5 minutes. Everyone go potty, everyone grab a cocktail, and let's meet on Up and Adam 2, and let's do this tip meeting.
Let's do the tip meeting. We'll see you guys in 5 minutes on Up and Adam 2. And I will drop the link in the live chat on the other chat. So head over there right now. And if you want to call in, we would love to hear from you. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. All our mod subscribers, everyone, and our naughty yachties. We will see you next week.
We'll see you in a couple minutes. Love you guys.
Or in a couple of minutes. All right. Bye, everyone.